There's an immeasurable bond that forms when you join the service. You'll do anything to protect and defend those at your side, and pushing the limits of your well-being is all just part of the job. But when this shared experience ends, it's easy to carry that mission-first mindset with you and neglect your own health and mental fitness. Team Red, White, and Blue understands these challenges and knows that together we can show veterans that their best days are ahead by providing opportunities to build healthier lifestyles right where they live and work. Through races, service projects, workouts, and a cutting-edge mobile app, our members develop a sense of camaraderie and mutual support. With a growing force of over 200,000 strong, we invite all veterans, families, and non-military supporters to start putting their well-being first. Team Red, White, and Blue is forging America's leading health and wellness community. Will you join the team?
Charlotte Motor Speedway, they're lean, they're mean, they're 5 to 7 horses, a man and machine. They're 4 wide before they start to slip and slide. The Coast2Coast Racing League 350A Modifieds, Pro Late Models, and the 360 Sprint Cars.
Leave the military, they face challenges and often neglect their own well-being.
My mind was all over the place. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't realize how traumatic it actually was.
You're kind of lost. You don't know what to do, what you're going to do. People wouldn't understand.
I couldn't do any of the stuff that I used to be able to do.
That's why Team Red, White, and Blue has offered critical programs supporting their mental and physical health.
It's crazy to think about the stuff that I accomplish because I have other people doing it with me.
Show America's veterans that their best days are ahead, and it's your chance to be a part of it. You can be the difference in a veteran's life by supporting Team RWB.
Team RWB has helped me believe in myself.
Your donation funds free programs and events that help veterans build a healthier lifestyle.
It kind of just gave me that sense of purpose again. Team RWB supports me, and it's just been phenomenal.
Scan the code. Donate today.
We are live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. I'm Zach Chapman here with Shaggy TV. We're bringing you some sprint car action tonight Shaggy got caught off the ball here playing different videos. Says Fairbury on your screen. That's not where we're at. We're at Volusia Speedway this evening, so my apologies for that. We'll go ahead and get that changed. But, man, this is a good track, and actually I'm much happier that we're at Volusia than Fairbury, that's for sure. Volusia, we're going to see good two-wide racing. We'll see two grooves open up. That guy in that number 20 with the name Chapman beside it, no relative of mine, and when you see him get on the track, you can tell that rather quickly as he runs towards the front. I'm normally towards the back, so no distinction between those last names, and definitely no relation, but he's one of those guys who he'll feed the bottom towards the end if he needs to, whereas the guy up top right now, Joseph Grandy in the 518, he will do it, but, he's one of those guys that love ripping that top side. That's home for him. But little different intros here this evening as we saw, had our Team Red, White, and Blue intros, and that's because, us at Coast to Coast, we're pleased to announce that the charity race for the fall season will be the Dirt Track Bank World Finals for Team RWB, and that's, of course, in cooperation with the Dirt Alliance, and that'll be next week, October 21st to October 24th, so Monday through Thursday, and $10 per division. There's 3 divisions, or you can pay $20 for all 3, and realistically, even if you plan on doing one, just give the 20. I mean, it's going to an amazing cause here to support our veterans. And, us at Coast to Coast, we've raised a lot of money for a lot of different charities. We love to help out. Right now, you see Dean Reynolds on the track. But there's 3 divisions. We'll have a Wing 360 division, a Pro Late model division, and a Dirt Modified 358 division. So no matter what your preference is, come on out. You don't have to be in the league to participate. The league will, take anyone here. Is just love to do charity, love to spread the work here. Let's find Brian Moore Jr. as he's out on lap number 1. He's actually, Blake Chapman comes across P2 in his opening lap. Let's see what he can do on lap 2. But so qualifying, the first night will be next Monday. The next night will be Tuesday, of course. Then Wednesday will be the Last Chance Showdown. And I believe possibly our veterans races then as well. Yes. Yeah, so the veterans race at 6:45. Then we'll have the Last Chance qualifiers for the others after the veterans race. The veterans and first responders, of course. Not to dip on the first responders, but over $500 in payout this year. So to each race will pay out $50 per winner, 25 for second, 15 for third, 10 for fourth, 5 for fifth. The overall combined points champion of all 3 divisions will get $100 and a trophy. Second, $50, third, $25, fourth, $15, fifth, $10. And, most broadcasters, I hear them be a lot nicer about it, but most of us at Coast to Coast, you know, there have been times where, yeah, Shaggy has done okay in some of these charity races, and, you know, nobody will judge you, but we do encourage you to donate it back, as, I mean, it is for the veterans. The trophy, of course, keep the trophy, but I think if we're racing on iRacing most of the time, we're doing all right for ourselves, and, well, it's nice to help out people when they need it, as it looks like Joseph Grandy not able to make the grid here for heat number 1. So that's going to change things. Blake Chapman on the pole to his outside, Brian Moore Sr., Steve Bixler inside of row 2 to his outside, Gavin Chatham. Inside of row number 3, Mike Cramner into his outside, the 56 of Randy Shreves. And then rounding out the field, slide job, Isaac Salas in that 5. In the rear of the field, that is not a place where the 5 finds himself too often. So he's going to look to get to the front as quick as he can. But Blake Chapman getting moved up to P1 here. That's what everyone else didn't want to see, is the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. Heat race number 1 underway at Volusia. Blake Chapman with an excellent jump over Brian Moore Sr., who easily holds off second right now to Stephen Bixler, but Gavin Chatham, he's trying to mount a charge to take away P3, as every guy you pass here is an extra spot or 2 when we line up in the feature. I believe only 2 heat races this evening. It's not a huge field. It's smaller than we're used to, but Gavin Chatham looking to the bottom through 3 and 4, not able to get it done. He's going to look one more time through 1 and 2. And he complete the pass going down the backstretch. Not just yet for the 99 of Gavin Chatham, but he's going to do it here off of 4s. No, the 75 finds a way around, but that was only temporary. He's got to fall back in line. Blake Chapman, the Dark Knight, Gavin Chatham up to P3. Blake Chapman out front with a 1.1 second lead here with 2 to go over Brian Moore Sr. Brian Moore Sr. is your current point leader, but he will chance to blow those points up. We will here as we roll into the warm-up session, but the white flag in the air final time around. Joseph Grandy was able to rejoin, or no, was not able to rejoin the race. Blake Cramner got into trouble, but the checkered flag in the air for the 20 of Blake Chapman. P2 Brian Moore Sr. Gavin Chatham holds on for 3rd. Isaac Salas 4th. Steve Bixler 5th. Randy Shreve 6th. As Isaac Salas started 7th, moves on up to 4th. That'll be a good overall run for him, and we'll cut those guys in half that he's going to have to pass in the feature. Makes it that much easier here as we get ready for heat race number 2. Sponsored by, I believe, Atlantic Management Resources. I'm missing my script. I'm looking at another piece of paper, so bear with me on that. But either way, we've got the grid correct. Is starting on the pole, we've got Dean Reynolds trying to pull a wheelie there for us. It is outside in the 09, Brian Moore Jr. Inside of row number 2, the librarian Pat Boyce, and his outside, the high side banger Patrick Spangler. Inside of row number 3, the Brewerton Beast Jeff Barker, and his outside in that 789, Cale Bixler. Rounding out the field in the number 78, we've got Jack Clevenger. Dino, the 79 on the inside, looks to bring us to the green flag here for heat race number 2 at Volusia Speedway. Get to start to the outside of Blake Chapman as the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. Heat race number 2 underway. Dino with a great jump kill. Bixler gets lost up in the Hershey Kisses there in 1 and 2 as he's got to find a way to gather it back up and pull himself back into this thing as the high side banger looks to the high side here, tries to go around the outside of Brian Moore Jr. Can't get it done for now, and now he's trying to go 2 for 1. Big head of steam coming out of 2. Can he complete the pass on Dino? Dean tries to float up and not able to shut the run off as the high side banger side by side in 1 and 2 gets up in the Hershey Kisses, and he's going to lose all momentum. Dino goes up there and slams the door shut. Now Brian Moore Jr. looks to the basement here and side by side at the line, give it to Patrick Spangler, but man, Brian Moore Jr. is not going away. He's looking, fighting back here in the cellar. Is there 3 wide through 3 and 4, 2 to go at the line. Patrick Spangler looking for a big send-in 1 and 2. He slide job, but Dino counters back going down the backstretch. Can he slide up in front of the 39? The high side banger stays in line for now. White flag in the air one more time around. Dean Reynolds slides up in front of the 39, and that's going to make him give up momentum here. The 39 peaks low through 3 and 4 as he slides up in front of the 79. Dino looks low, coming to the checkers. Patrick Spangler wins heat race number 1, followed by Dean Reynolds, Brian Moore Jr., Pat Boyce, and Jeff Barker rounding out the top 5. Great heat race number 2. As we're going to step away here, take a quick break on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and we will be right back with tonight's feature action. Stick around.
This is our wake-up call. These are our trust falls. This is why we rise. This is our walk on the beach. These are our greatest fears and our finest hours. This is our moment of silence. These are our brothers and sisters. These are our road trips. And this is who we are. Whether you served our nation or stand alongside someone who does, it's what makes us different that makes us the same. Team Red, White, and Blue. As long as the eagle flies over us, you'll have a place that gets you.
We are back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Warm-ups come to a close. Randy Shreves, Patrick Spangler, and Blake Chapman, the top 3 in current order, but we know that matters little here as they get ready to grid up for tonight's first feature of the night here in the 360's. Been a quick one. Only have 15 guys here. Like I say, normally a bigger field than that, so it's rolling quick. If you plan on getting in the 410s, you better fire up that computer and hop on here because you are running out of time. Tonight's RSN trackside starting feature lineup looks a little something like this. Starting on the pole, the salesman Blake Chapman. Into his outside, the high side banger Patrick Spangler. Inside of row number 2, Brian Moore Sr. Into his outside, Dean Reynolds. Inside of row number 3, the Dark Knight Gavin Chatham. Into his outside, Brian Moore Jr. Slide job. Old Salsa, Isaac Salas to the inside of row number 4, into his outside, the Librarian, Pat Boyce. Inside of row number 5, the Mayor, Steve Bixler, into his outside, the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. Inside of row number 6, Randy Shreves, into his outside, Jack Clevenger. Mike Cramner to the inside of row number 7, into his outside in the 789, Cale Bixler. Rounding out the field in the 518, did make the call for tonight's feature, $100,000, Joseph Grandy. So we should roll around one more time here, I believe. Drivers get a little bit of heat in those motors. I'd like to thank you once again for joining us here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Started streaming off Shaggy TV on Facebook now, so if you're interested, you can always watch there as well, or on Shaggy TV on my YouTube. But, you know, I promised someone that I wouldn't pick their son anymore, so I don't know if I would have tonight anyway, with the high side banger starting to the outside. I'm going to roll with Patrick Spengler here in tonight's feature. Is real quick, we're actually going to pop up the points. Brian Moore Sr. is the point leader, but you see how close that is. We're going to make that disappear as the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. Feature action underway at Volusia Speedway. 25 laps. Can the Salesman beat the high side banger? Two of the best running up front through 1 and 2. Blake Chapman able to prevail early here on the bottom. I told you in warm-ups, if anybody can run the bottom, it's that kid in the 20. And normally we do get a low line here at Volusia. Not only is Blake making that low line work right now, but he's saving some right rear tire as Dino looks on the low side. He tries to go by the high side banger, and he shuts the door coming out of 4. Patrick Spengler looks back down in the basement here, and Dino's upstairs stealing some of Grandma's cookies off that top shelf as he rolls through 3 and 4. He's going to have the momentum. Holds P2 at the line. Let's duck back here. The Librarian, Pat Boyce, started 8th, up to 7th here. One position early, but right now stuck behind Brian Moore Jr. as he watches him and Gavin Chatham roll side by side. Let's go on board. Patrick Spengler, you see up front down there on the bottom, trying to get back by Dino as we're going to hop out. And, well, Brian Moore's dad, Mr. Senior, up here, he's trying to run in that top shelf, seeing if he can get by the 39 as they almost make contact entering 1. Blake Chapman out front all by himself, looking up in the rearview mirror and watching these 3 race like there's 2 to go here when we've still got 19 trips around the sun. Plenty of time to move your way on up through the field. Jack Clevenger right now, your hard charger, up 3 spots, able to get around Randy Shreves as you see slide job. Isaac Salas trying to cut under the Librarian, Pat Boyce, but Pat's on the outside of Junior here, so Junior's going to lose 2. He got passed by Pat and Isaac here as we roll down the backstretch. Isaac wants to cut under, but Junior's still there, not able to do it just yet. Dean Reynolds loses the spot to Brian Moore Sr. as Brian Moore Sr., the current point leader, on the move, but Dino with a big send through 3 and 4. He shuts the door, they make contact. Brian Moore Sr. hard into the outside wall. He flips. We get a caution at Volusia. Now it looked like live, maybe Dino got a little loose, came down off the wall a little bit, but we're going to go back here. Let's go to that Chapman Racing drone here, and man, this Flatline Racing Body's hometown heroes race, man, what a drive here. Is we're going to slow that down, but it's pretty much your first incident of the night here. I'm going to go a little further back because this one's tough. All right, so right now, I mean, Brian's coming up as Dino, so all right, I was way premature to hop on Dino there. I mean, that's Brian, Senior may be a little mad there, but that's one of those cases in that, well, that's tough for the Dark Knight there. Gavin Chatham involved heavy. Pat Boyce also gets in it as well. But, man, that's one of those where 2 guys just fighting for the same real estate on the racetrack. And when you touch wheels in a sprint car, that's what happens. And lose 2 good cars here in the top 5. And they do have a chance with that quick repair and a tow to maybe get back out, but man, is it going to be close. And if they do get out, they are going to be close to losing a lap here. And when you lose a lap at the dirt track, you don't get it back unless you drive your way up through the field, old NASCAR style, and pass someone under green flag. And I say under green flag because once a caution comes back out, you drop right back to the rear. So all those guys that you've passed, you've then got to work on again if you didn't get by everybody, including the leader. So long night ahead for Brian Moore Sr. and Gavin Chatham, as they both still are on pit road. And the lights are off on the pace truck, so as we get ready to roll through 3 and 4 here for the final time, we're going to watch the pace truck dive off here, and we're going to go back racing here. Flatline Racing Body's hometown heroes as the salesman brings us to the green flag. Blake Chapman with an excellent restart, able to pick whatever line he wants here, moves right up in front of Dino. And well, Dino left the basement open for Patrick Spangler. Patrick trying to mount a charge. We call him the high side banger, but man, he's trying to rip that inside here, trying to see if he can't find some grip. But man, if the salesman gives up on it, Blake Chapman, I don't know how much grip is left down there to find. As you see Blake Chapman, we're going to see, you see that yellow car, that's what I talked about. Brian Moore Sr., he did make it out of the pits, but now you see how close he is to being a lap down. I mean, he pulled right out right as they're getting ready to go green flag. So Brian Moore Sr. 100% needs a caution here if he wants to catch up to the rest of the field. Meanwhile, Patrick Spangler still trying to surf the bottom, but out of nowhere, Salsa, where did he come from? Isaac Salas, he's all over the back of the 79. Isaac Salas looking to maybe make it 3 wide, but just runs out of steam too far around, running that high through 1 and 2. But right now, Isaac clearly has some speed in that 5, just nowhere to go as he gives Dean a little shove coming out of 4. He looks to the top shelf there, 3 wide. Isaac gets into the wall, but he stays hammered down, tries to power through. Dino, big send. Whoa, Nelly. Patrick Spangler hard into the inside wall. Caution is out once again. Brian Moore Jr. gets collected as we go back and we try and find a replay of what happened here to Patrick Spangler. I think we know what happened. It's possible Isaac Salas maybe came down, but hey, the last time I did that, Shaggy was wrong. So let's see what happens here. Is coming off a 4. Isaac diamonding down. Now, Isaac, he's up top now as Patrick's coming up, but Isaac loses the rear end a little bit, just gets a little tail whip, and it's nothing severe, but they were close to 3 wide. Patrick was pretty close to him, and no room for hiccups. And Isaac Salas, he made a small hiccup, and well, that's going to hurt the 39's night. Salesman Blake Chapman stays out front here, and somebody's mom might be happy that I didn't pick him this evening, because the guy who I picked, you saw what just happened to him, so we'll have to see what the night has in store for that someone. Is Dino, you see him pulling a wheelie in that 79. He's excited to get that Full Throttle Motorsports machine rolling. Is Dino, he finds himself right now second place on merit. I mean, he drove around Patrick Spangler. He does have a quick car behind him. So on this restart, Dino's going to have to really fight here to hold off Isaac Salas if he wants to stay on the middle step of the podium. As our ticker resets itself and Blake Chapman moves back to the top. Let's tell you who this hard charger is. It's going to be $100,000. Joseph Grandy missed the grid there for heat race number 1 and started in the back of the feature, which was 15th, and finds himself up to 6. So up 9 spots for $100,000 in the 518 as the lights are off in the pace truck. So the Steve King Foundation pace truck will pull off this time coming out of 4, and Blake Chapman is set to bring us back to the green flag. 8 more trips around the sun at Volusia Speedway. What a restart for the salesman. Dino right away. Goes to that top shelf here. Wants to shut down Isaac. Isaac's going to put it in the middle in 3 and 4. Not enough of a run to float up just yet. Can Randy Shreves come and battle back for that final podium spot as Isaac Salas into the inside wall, and Dino goes for a ride in the 79. My, oh my, Isaac Salas. We did not rewind. He is now just settling down. Oh, that is going to be a quiet discord, as those two are very good friends, but man, oh man, that is not what Isaac Salas wanted to happen here. So try to break this down. He just gets into this inside wall. Comes back up the track. Dino, then hold on Dino as he rides the fence like a half pipe. Then, kisses it with the rear end. Flips, flips, flips. Here comes Mike Cramner. He just misses it. Oh, man, Dino. As now we go back, we find Isaac Salas here. Let's go on board with Isaac. We'll get to see just, he clips this inside wall. Throws him back up the track. And wild ride for the 5 of Isaac Salas. Man, oh man. The mayhem continues. And once again, this leaves Blake Chapman out front, just shuffling in guys behind him. No matter what's happened this race, Blake's, been far enough out front to stay away from it. And, that's got to be the plan for the kid here, is he wants to talk about some Galen's popcorn in a couple laps. He's going to be able to do that pretty soon here, as the Steve King Foundation pace truck will pull off, and we will go back green this time as Blake Chapman, another good restart over the 56 of Randy Shreves this time. Pat Boyce really hung up there with a bad restart. And now we see Pat Boyce and Steve Bixler, Jeff Barker, Jack Clevenger battling for this bottom step of the podium here with 5 laps to go. The Librarian right now holding on, but Jack Clevenger in that 78 looks to the outside. He's got to back out, as just for a second almost gets into the back of the 41 as Pat comes up and closes the door. Caution is out at Volusia one more time. Mike Cramner, I'm hearing, is involved. Let's see if we can figure out what happened for the 70 of Mike Cramner. Right now the 99 of Gavin Chatham below him. Gavin slides up. And Slider is definitely, that's clear. So let's see here. Patrick was already looking in the middle, and Mike cuts down thinking there's going to be room there, and Patrick just barely clips him. Patrick keeps on rolling, but not as lucky for the 70 of Mike Cramner, who does a couple 360s, comes to a stop, and caution is out. As the opener, we went almost 10, 15 laps there without a caution. Now the caution bug, it's infected everyone here. We're losing some guys. We've got guys a lap down now. 2 guys a lap down, actually. I'm seeing Brian Moore Jr. and Dean Reynolds. A tough break for those guys. It's going to be almost impossible for them to get their laps back here this evening at Volusia. It's Randy Shreves. Arguably the best restart anyone's had in these single files against Blake, and it still wasn't that great. Blake just does such a good job of restarting these races at different points. He can pull off any time after all 4 of the pace truck's tires are on pit road. He can, start the race as per league rules, and Blake does such an excellent job of doing that, changing up the timing. And As we roll through 3 and 4, the Steve King Foundation pace truck pulls off one more time, and we've got 4 more laps here at Volusia. As an excellent jump once again from the salesman. Randy Shreves not letting him get too far away. Holds that to about a 4/10 gap. He's going to send it in deep on the high side, looking to get a big run off of 4. And right now it's pretty even here to the salesman as the battle heats up for 3rd place. Pat Boyce trying to hold off Steve Bixler and Jack Clevenger. We saw Jack Clevenger with a big run there on the high side, trying to look low for 3rd right as the caution came out. Bad timing. So Jack had to get those spots back, and now he's got to deal with the Dark Knight. That's why I gave him that nickname. He just creeps in the shadows, and here he comes, white flag in the air for the salesman final time around. Can the Dark Knight get up here and mix it up for the final podium spot as Jack Clevenger gets into the back of Steve Bixler, and we've got a wild wreck here on the final lap as Blake Chapman takes the checkered flag. Randy Shreves, Pat Boyce, Gavin Chatham, Jeff Barker round out the top 5, and oh man, we had some stuff happen on that white flag lap. Let's go check it out. I believe Steve Bixler probably not going to be a happy man here. As we see, this isn't a very good camera. There we go. Yeah, he gets tagged, and if Jack didn't get into the back of him, he was going to get into the back of Pat. So Pat, with this 3rd place finish here for the Librarian, he may have to send Bixler a Christmas card there as we see Patrick Spangler. Man, he ballparks it on the high side. Let's watch Patrick Spangler here. He just runs out of room. Nowhere to go. Steve Bixler comes back up the track, and man, iRacing, they didn't want us to see that. They cut it off. They want us to see that finish there for Blake Chapman. Is Blake able to get it done, but not without some last lap excitement here. Is going to rewind this a little bit, give us some green flag racing here, and we're going to give Pat a chance to jump up to the interview booth here. Is the Librarian, man, started 8th, able to ride his way on up to 3rd. I know Pat Boyce, he's going to have a smile on his face after this one. He's not up in the waiting room yet, but Shaggy can do him a favor. We're just going to pull him up here. Hey, Pat, Shaggy up here, man. You got a copy?
I got a copy.
I'll tell you what, Pat, I'm not going to call you out if you lie to me, but I want the truth here. When you got on this here tonight at Volusia, did you think you'd be talking to me after the 360 sprint race, Pat?
Absolutely not.
Well, man, you hung around. You did well in the heat, and, I was good enough to, I believe you started 8th here.
Yep.
And, you put yourself in a good spot to where you get to watch those guys race and go at it. And, Pat, that's exactly what you did. Those guys got aggressive, and, man, you're just able to drive your way through, the accidents. And there at the end, you had to hold off some fast guys, dude, and you did it pretty well. So talk us through just your race, man. What got you up there?
Actually, I tried staying up on the high side and just catching staying out of the slick mostly. And you can actually see a line if you kept your right side in that dry. It was pretty good shape. But I tried going down low, and I was losing ground. So it's like I went back up towards the middle or high, and it seemed to be okay.
I'll tell you what, you're darn right it seemed to be okay. You weren't really letting those guys super pull away from you. Obviously Blake's going to get the jump there, being the leader on the start. But Pat, man, dude, you held off some good dogs here tonight who were really hungry after, getting involved in some stuff. So for the Librarian to be able to take these kids to school here, man, and finish on that bottom step of the podium, I know you got a big smile on your face right now, man, but who you want to thank?
Coast2Coast Racing League for sure. The broadcast, without you, wouldn't be much fun. Salty Dogs Race Team and the Young Gun Creations.
Well, Pat, I'm sorry I had to miss last night. Some family things came up, but I'll tell you what, man. We both know this means a little bit more than it would have last night. Hell of a job, Pat. Congratulations, man. And I hope this becomes a fixture here on Wednesday nights.
Thank you very much.
Is that your P3 finisher, Pat Boyson? Man, Pat, that was a nice finish for him. But I'll tell you what, a guy who, Randy, you got a hard charger on the way up here. You didn't have the best luck in your heat, had to climb your way on up. And, I mean, we saw you doing it in multiple grooves tonight. You had to use the bottom at some points. And, well, at other points, you go ride that rim. Just talk to us about your race.
Yeah, it was definitely a fun race, coming from deep in the back. Had to throw some Hail Marys there a couple times. Definitely want to apologize to Jack Clevenger there. I could tell he was a little frustrated with me. I think I may have parked it on his nose a little bit. I wasn't trying to, but it happens when you're racing hard, just trying to make positions coming from the back, and just trying to stay on my line. And there at the end, just playing chase with Blake there.
No, yeah, and to come to your defense a little bit, I mean, with the fixed setups, Randy, we all know, unless you've got that talented, and I mean super talented, Anthony Morano, Blake Chapman right foot, dude, it is hard to run the bottom in these fixed setups. And when everybody's fighting for that top shelf, I mean, it is almost slide or die. That's what you got to do to work your way on up to the front. And Randy, you did exactly that, man, up 9 spots. So congratulations. That's a good run in a fixed setup race. We both know that. So hats off, man. Who you want to thank?
For sure. We just want to thank everybody at Coast to Coast. You at Shaggy TV, man, you do an awesome job every week, and definitely appreciate you doing it. And want to thank my son Dylan Shreves for painting my car. I want to thank my boss Jeff Span at KSB Builders for all he does for me, and I want to thank everybody for watching.
Well, hell of a job, Randy. Good P2, man. And, at the end of the day, I know you want to beat the kid, but, man, it's tough to do when he starts on the front row. And going up 9 spots, that's a hell of a job tonight. Congratulations.
Yeah, I appreciate it, buddy.
And with that, we're going to bring up the man of the hour. And, Blake, real quick here before we get into this, you just need to remember to thank your mom here. I got in trouble for picking you the other night here, not allowed to do it anymore. And I remembered I didn't pick you tonight. And, well, look what happens, Blake. You finish. You basically sweep the night here, win your heat, and win the feature. How you feel, kid?
Yeah, it feels pretty good, Shaggy, and you'd have no idea how upset she gets over this virtual racing stuff. It's actually crazy. But like you said, we were able to sweep the night there. Got lucky. Grandy's been having internet issues all night, it seems like. Hopefully he can get that figured out. But that gave us the pole to heat, and the bottom was fast, and we were able to hit that. Felt really good. And then for the feature there, the bottom was still working in 1 and 2. I was able to use that to get out to a jump, and that slider line in 3 and 4 was fast all night long. So just be able to ride those 2 lines really to victory all night long here.
Yeah, I mean, nobody was watching the broadcast. I tried to sell you out here in warm-ups, but, man, just talk to us. It amazes me every time. I mean, maybe one other car pulled it off the way you did, but they were in the back of the field. I didn't see it. Those opening laps, Blake, just talk to us. How consistent do you have to be to run the bottom like that? Because, it just looks so tricky.
Yeah, you got to be really consistent. If you don't hit it right, you're going to lose a lot of speed. So you got to be consistent down there. That comes over with time, right? It's just running here a lot like I have. You get used to running the bottom at these tracks. And the most important part, in my opinion, is the entry. If you get a little too wide, you take it a little too sharp, you're not going to have a good corner. So if you can set the car in right and drive it in easy, then you should be able to get off just fine. So that's what we were able to do tonight. But yeah, not run the bottom's not for everybody, that's for sure. And usually the top's quick here, but yeah, we were able to use that bottom line to win here tonight.
Yeah, now, you do that so well, man. I mean, you really are in your own class. You and Anthony, I mention you two all the time. You're so good at running the bottom. Do you think we're going to see more of that here when you guys pull the 410s out here next?
Yeah, absolutely. To start off the night, I would guess that the bottom's going to be the fastest way to get around this track. But as time goes on, I'm guessing that top will get a little bit more dominant. We got a little more horsepower to get around this place, but it should be fun.
Well, hey, man, hell of a run here in this 360, kid. I'll let you go get some practice in that 410. But before you do, man, who you want to thank?
Yeah, I got to thank the parents for watching. Got to thank all the guys at the Crate Sim Racing team. Got to thank Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps and Andy at AJ Custom Creations. Also have to thank Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. You know, they got some of the best stuff out there. You can head over to their website. And don't forget to use code CART, that's C-A-R-T, at checkout for 15% off some of their delicious popcorn. And I got to thank you for putting this broadcast on tonight.
Well, hey, man, you did such a great job here tonight. Good luck here in the 410s, brother. You know I'm rooting for you to go 2 for 2 here. Good luck.
Thanks, Shaggy.
We'll kick him out of here. Let him go get some practices. Man, you put that kid on the front row. Man, it's so hard to beat him. And, you know, you give him that bottom line. He showed how he can make it work. Even when it's not the preferred line, everybody else went to the top shelf. I don't care what he says. There's a little bit of grit down there. He just does it to be nice. There was no grit down there, and that kid finds a way to make it work. It's phenomenal. It's unbelievable. And truthfully here, Flatline Racing Bodies, hometown heroes Wednesday night. I wouldn't be surprised if the kid goes 2 for 2. We're going to take a real quick break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and we will be right back with tonight's premier event here, 410s at Volusia Speedway. Stick around.
It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion. Trying to be a bit of a hiatus, so let's get.
Tonight we'll be talking about it.
immeasurable bond that forms when you join the service. You'll do anything to protect and defend those at your side, and pushing the limits of your well-being is all just part of the job. But when this shared experience ends, it's easy to carry that mission-first mindset with you and neglect your own health and mental fitness. Team Red, White, and Blue understands these challenges and knows that together we can show veterans that their best days are ahead by providing opportunities to build healthier lifestyles right where they live and work. Through races, service projects, workouts, and a cutting-edge mobile app, our members develop a sense of camaraderie and mutual support. With a growing force of over 200,000 strong, we invite all veterans, families, and non-military supporters to start putting their well-being first. Team Red, White, and Blue is forging America's leading health and wellness community. Will you join the team?
Answer the call. Join forces with Team Red, White, and Blue, America's leading health and wellness community for veterans. Team RWB events and programs help veterans build healthier lifestyles through physical activity, supporting improved health, increased sense of belonging, and a positive outlook. With more than 200,000 members and growing, we're here to get you back in shape and back on track.
Hey, buddy, where's your dad?
With Team Red, White, and Blue, your best days are ahead of you.
We are back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network with tonight's 410 main event here at Volusia Speedway. And I'm going to bring up the points here real quick. Right now, Patrick Spengler leads the points with Brian Moore Sr. and Brian Moore Jr. not too far behind. Jeffrey Barker there, P4, and Anthony Morano, the Ant-Man, not here this evening. He is probably going to end up dropping out of that P5 spot, we'd imagine, as Joseph Grandy there sitting P6 is currently top of the speed chart. So looking good for Joseph Grandy to maybe move on up the points here this evening in that 518. 100 grand's always got some speed. Put a 410 motor in that thing, let him rip the lip. We're going to see some speed out of that 518 as the checkered flag flies and we get ready to roll into tonight's qualifying here. Once again, if you're out there watching, thank you for tuning in, Megan. Like I say, I'm so bad with that chat. I have so many windows open. Thanks for tuning in, Megan. We got Joe and Dino in there. Dino picking on Joe for that dial-up internet. As Grandy had some connection issues in the opening race, but we'll watch Joseph Grandy's lap number 1 here for qualifying. Him and Dino should both finish up around the same time here, so we'll see who is quicker out of him and Dean Reynolds. Currently is Joseph Grandy. Let's hop over with Dean Reynolds here to watch the rest of his lap number 2. 79 machine looks so smooth and through and through. Does he improve? Not now, but Brian Moore Sr. is so far has the pole as we get ready to watch the kid here. The salesman, can he go 2 for 2 tonight? Starting on the pole would be a good step in the right direction for Blake. And boy, oh boy, he jumped. He didn't just step, he jumped on the pole here. Moves up a 12.91. Can he improve? Final lap? No, he's going to be slower. As Brian Moore Jr. quicker personally here in Sector 1. Let's see what he does in 2. He is going to be quicker. What's the lap time? Going to go 9th though, as you see. 1st through 10th there within 0.2 of a second. So very close field here as we have 2 people who did not qualify so far. The Dark Knight, Gavin Chatham, and the high side banger, Patrick Spangler. So, not too sure if they're just going to play a little start in the back here tonight. They might be doing that. As qualifying comes to an end here, and we get ready for Gambler Motorsports Heat Race number 1. Starting on the pole, the 78 of Jack Clevenger, into his outside, the mare, Steve Bixler. Inside of row number 2, the 518, 100 grand, Joseph Grandy, into his outside, the salesman, Blake Chapman. Inside of row number 3, the 09 of Brian Moore Jr., into his outside, the 41, the librarian, Pat Boyce. Patrick Spangler, he is supposed to round out the heat here this evening, but Patrick, as we see there, they're already going green. I imagine he gridded up, then ungridded here to be nice. He likes to start in the back of these things, especially when we don't have a huge field. So Patrick Spangler will load up and start in the back here for tonight's feature event. Only 6 laps here in the heat, so that'll go by pretty quick here in these 410s. You need to make your moves while you can here, as there are not a lot of cars. Track may not wear out as much as Blake and I thought during the interview, so we may see the bottom stick around a little longer than the kid thought as well here as we roll through 3 and 4. The Steve King Foundation pace truck will pull off this time by as the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. Heat race number 1 of Volusia Speedway underway. Jack Clevenger brings us to the green flag. Saw Brian Moore Jr. there pull a wheelie. He had to get off the gas and slow it down as put second through 4th under a blanket and put the salesman on the bottom. Blake Chapman had to lift a little bit. Wasn't able to get around Joseph Grandy just yet, but able to get around the mare here, Steve Bixler. As I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe I've dug up some information that the mare is quite possibly a grandfather to Blake Chapman. I can't believe I haven't known that all this time, as Joseph Grandy gets into the inside wall, able to stay off of Blake. Nowhere for the mare to go as Steve Bixler gets caught up and the librarian drives by him. Blake Chapman, 2 more trips around. He's got a set sight on that 78, and I can sense a slide job coming here. Maybe not just yet, but let's watch him. Drives high in 3 and 4. Gonna arc down here. Here it comes. 1 and 2. White flag in the air. 1 more trip around. Blake Chapman throws it up in front of the 78. About as clean of a slider as you can have. Let's see what Jack does. He throws it back. Blake counters side by side. Jack Clevenger holds it at the line. Blake Chapman P2, 100 grand 3rd. Pat Boyce 4th. Steve Bixler 5th. Brian Moore Jr. 6th. And, well, I explained to you what Patrick Spangler's going to do. He likes to start in the back of these features, so I imagine we'll see him grid up for tonight's feature event here. But heat race number 2, sponsored by Atlantic Management Resources. Starting on the pole, the 513 of Jeffrey Barker and his outside, and the 79, Megan's King, Dean Reynolds. Inside of row number 2 in the 814, Brad Wade into his outside in the 558, Senior, Brian Moore Sr. Rounding out the field in row number 3 to the inside, the 56 of Randy Shreves, and not sure if we're going to get Gavin Chatham in here. Doesn't look like it, is only 5 guys here going to make the grid for heat race number 2. And whoa, hang on to it, Dino. Man, that was scary for Dino. He almost had to drive her in and use his quick repair here before we got going. Dino got excited, forgot we were in a 410 here. Almost lost that thing. So we rolled on the backstretch here. I don't think he's going to. Oh, yeah, he's not going to do it again. Here's the Brewerton Beast on the inside. That 5:13 looks to bring us to the green flag for heat race number 2. The green flag is high. It's ready to fly. Let's go play in the clay of Volusia Speedway. 6 laps in heat race number 2. Jeff Barker keeping it on the bottom for now, and he leaves that top shelf open to the 79. He's going to let Brian Moore Sr. on by too, and here comes the 8:14 of Brad Waite. First to fourth opening lap for Jeff Barker. Dean Reynolds rolling that middle right now. Brian Moore Sr. trying to find a little crack in the can here, but Dean smooth as silk through 3 and 4 more trips around. Jeff Barker not going away on the bottom. He's like that annoying little brother here. Just keeps bugging to play your games. Stuck down there on the bottom, but I think he saw the writing on the wall as he lifted going in. Falls up into line. Halfway around for Dino as we get ready to go through 3 and 4. He'll see the cross flags this time by 2 more laps around for the 79. Has been almost picture perfect for Dino. Excellent start. Able to get right to the front. Brian Moore Sr. hasn't found the crack in the armor yet as the white flag in the air. 1 more trip around. Brian Moore Sr. has reeled him in a little bit. Is it close enough for one final send? Through 3 and 4 for the last time. Brian Moore Sr. on the bottom. Dino holds it at the line. He's going to win heat race number 2. Followed by Brian Moore Sr., Brad Waite, Jeff Barker, Randy Shreves. And like I say, not sure if we're going to get Gavin here this evening or if he's pulling a Patrick Spangler, but Gavin will start towards the back of tonight's feature as we get ready to take a quick break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and we'll be right back with tonight's feature main event.
Leave the military, they face challenges and often neglect their own well-being.
My mind was all over the place. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't realize how traumatic it actually was.
You're kind of lost. You don't know what to do, what you're going to do. People wouldn't understand.
I couldn't do any of the stuff that I used to be able to do.
That's why Team Red, White, and Blue has offered critical programs supporting their mental and physical health.
It's crazy to think about the stuff that I accomplish because I have other people doing it with me.
Show America's veterans that their best days are ahead, and it's your chance to be a part of it. You can be the difference in a veteran's life by supporting Team RWB.
Team RWB has helped me believe in myself.
Your donation funds free programs and events that help veterans build a healthier lifestyle.
It kind of just gave me that sense of purpose again. Team RWB supports me, and it's just been phenomenal.
Scan the code. Donate today.
We are back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Joseph Grandy, Blake Chapman, and Brad Waite, your top three in warm-ups. As we get ready for tonight's feature lineup to appear. Voila. Tonight's RSN Trackside feature starting lineup for tonight's Flatline Racing Bodies Hometown Heroes 410 feature event looks a little something like this. Starting on the pole, the 78 of Jack Clevenger, and to his outside, the 79 of Dean Reynolds. Inside of row number 2, the salesman Blake Chapman, and to his outside, Brian Moore Sr. $100,000, Joseph Grandy to the inside of row number 3, and to his outside in the 814, Brad Waite. The librarian, Pat Boyce, to the inside of row number 4, and his dancing partner on the outside in the 513, the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. The mayor, Steve Bixler, to the inside of row number 5, and to his outside, the 56 of Randy Shreves. Brian Moore Jr. to the inside of row number 6, and to his outside, Gavin Chatham. Actually, no Gavin Chatham or Patrick Spangler, so not too sure why no Patrick Spangler. That is odd. So hopefully everything okay in that 39 house. I've seen Gavin every now and then. He runs some other leagues. He runs into some stuff. Man, that is unlike that 39. So Patrick Spangler, hope everything's all good, brother. We'll bring this up one more time, but he is your points leader, so this is going to have to be a drop week for Patrick Spangler. This is what the Moors want to see here. This is their chance to capitalize and move on up into 1-2 as we roll through 3 and 4 for the final time. The Steve King Foundation pace truck will pull off this time as the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. 25 laps at Volusia Speedway. Let's go play. Jack Clevenger trying to flirt and get up in front of the 79, but Dino just drives right up around, and Jack shuts the door on the salesman. Blake able to get it together, but he's going to lose a couple spots. Long way to go here for the salesman, but early trouble as Dino finds himself out front. I didn't make my pick of the race yet. Maybe makes me look like I'm cheating here, but I promise you I was going to take Brian Moore Sr. I just forgot to tell you guys. I swear, is right now Brian Moore Sr. P2. Dean Reynolds and Shaggy, why didn't you pick me? I got these wings figured out. As he leads the opening first 2 laps. As we move our way back, Randy Shreves up 3 spots early. As right now he's got a tough guy to pass, though. The 518 of Joseph Grandy. Joseph's trying to go hunting. He lost 1 spot early, and he's trying to reel these guys back in. Is Blake Chapman on the bottom here, trying to find his way back up to P2. I told you that bottom would be there with all this power, and I told you I think it may stick there a little longer. Is not a lot of cars, not a lot of guys feeding that bottom as the salesman tries to find a way around Brian Moore Sr. Not this time. Brian Moore Sr., he's got to feel helpless. He can't go down low. He's got the salesman there, and he can't go any faster in the high line. He's got the 79 in front of him. Blake Chapman with a great 1 and 2. An okay 3 and 4, but he's figured it out here as he looks low for the lead, side by side going down the... Going down the backstretch here. I mean, he has just extended that gap here. I believe we had a little bit of a mic cut off. My apologies. I think everything's back running smooth now here as Brian Moore Sr. tries to defend this final podium spot. Got a quick car behind him, that 814, and here comes the 78. He just watched Blake Chapman do it. Now he wants to try and go do it. I mean, Blake he's still down there on the bottom, so it's not like it was a one-hit wonder. He loves that bottom line. We got to see if other drivers can make it work. He's so good at it. It's so tricky, and right now, nobody's really committing to it like Blake. They're floating up even on the exit. And, oh, Brian Moore Sr. hard into Dean Reynolds, and man, that collects the 814 of Brad Waite. As we saw it happen live. Not too sure what caused Brian to go up the track. Looked like Brian possibly came up here as we go into the Chapman Racing drone camera. Dino, I mean, he's got him there. Dino's running his line. Brian just comes up and, well, I mean, kind of gives him the boot here, kicks him out of the way, and it's going to be a tough recovery here for the 814 and the 79 if they want to get back into this one. Oh, man, Brian Moore Jr. also involved there. Gets into the flipping Brad Waite. So a couple cars involved in the early wreck here, and Blake Chapman once again finds himself out front, able to stay ahead of the madness. So we should have 13 to go here when we take the green flag, and you know, pretty quick night here so far. I mean, the 360s had its fair share of cautions in the feature, but wasn't too bad, and field held it together for a great finish, and I imagine we're going to get another one here. As you see the 518 there of 100 grand. Joseph Grand, he's creeping up into the top 5. He's up there in 4th, so expect Joseph to try to mount a charge here and get something to work on the high side, with the salesman Blake Chapman being the only guy to get that inside line to work. So you want to get around him, you're going to have to run that rim, and I mean, that's the easiest, but it's not necessarily the fastest right now. Is the green flag is high, it's ready to fly. 13 laps to go at Volusia Speedway, but we're back underway. Blake Chapman, I talked about it. I mean, you just see he nails that bottom through 1 and 2, really extends the gap, and Joseph Grandy finds himself on the high side right where I said he would, moves up into that final podium spot, but right now not able to seal the deal as they roll through 1 and 2. He's still got the 78 of Jack Clevenger going inside. 100 grand, lets it scream there. He moves on up into 3rd. Definitely got it at the line. Now he's got to go see if he can get by Brian Moore Sr. He's running out of time to go get the kid. And, well, if nobody gets him, you know we're going to hear about some Galen's popcorn here. As 10 more trips around the sun for Blake Chapman. That voice finds himself in 6th right now, but for how long as Dino tries to charge his way on back up through the field. He's looking low on the mare, Steve Bixler, right now. Got him at the line. 100 grand trying to make that bottom work here as we'll go out front. Blake Chapman, he's showing it can be done. You got to be patient. He preaches patience. You can do it. You just got to be patient. But man, oh man, when you're running behind with 8 laps to go, it is tough to be patient. But that's what Joseph Grandy's got to do here if he wants to find a way around Brian Moore Sr. 7 laps left. Randy Shreve started 10th up to 5th here as he'd love to move 1 more spot if he can get to the outside of the 78 of Jack Clevenger. Big send as he goes into 3 and 4. He blocks the 56. Randy Shreve's not able to come back on the slider of his own here. Didn't have the momentum, but maybe likes the run he's getting on the bottom here as he roll through 3 and 4. 5 laps to go this time by. Brian Moore Sr. holding off 2nd, not able to reel in your leader, Blake Chapman, who's just kind of, you know, stayed consistent down there on that bottom. I guess they are running him down a little bit, excuse me, but, you know, not enough to really alert Blake just yet. As let's pull up those last couple laps and see Brian Moore Sr. fastest 3 out of those last 5 laps. And, you know, that will come. Blake said the bottom would disappear, and we're seeing here 3 to go. It maybe is slowing down, and Blake, if he's got that rearview mirror on, it may be time to go up and shut the door here as we see runs the top through 3 and 4. Smart kid, but goes right back to the bottom in 1 and 2. 2 more laps left. Can Brian Moore Sr. or Joseph Grandy run down the kid? White flag in the air, final time around. Blake Chapman started up front And man, the kid, he's just been so consistent. Another good 3 and 4 here for Blake Chapman. And he takes home the checkers again at Volusia Speedway, followed by Brian Moore Sr., Joseph Grandy, Jack Clevenger, and Dean Reynolds fights his way back up to the top 5. So we know, tough break there for Dino. He was running up in the top 3, got fed an early dinner, and found himself in the outside wall. But tell you what, Blake Chapman, he doesn't care. Gets to bring home another win here this evening, and man, the kid is gonna feel good about this one. These 410s, it's not an easy feat there for that restart. I mean, it's pretty equal with all that power, and he's able to take off on the start of the race and walk away with yet another one here. Is give these guys a minute or two to catch their breath, and we'll bring up the 3rd place finisher here, Joseph Grandy. As this guy's a pro, he doesn't mess around. He's already up here waiting for me to get to him. Hey, 100 grand, Shaggy up here, man. You got a copy?
Yep, how you doing?
Well, pretty good. It seemed like, man, you had a quick car, but early on, long green flag run, and you just couldn't get the timely cautions that we seemed to, keep getting in the 360 race earlier.
Yeah, the track got to the point where, everybody seemed to be just as fast as everybody, and, hard to do stuff when it's like that.
Yeah, other than like slight wing adjustments and stuff like that, but you really don't want to limit your power. What really can you do other than a big slider here? I mean, we saw Blake run the bottom, but dude, how tricky was that trying to run the bottom out there?
Yes, it was quicker in the beginning, but towards the end it didn't look as fast, looked pretty equal to the top. But running the bottom, 1 and 2 is pretty easy. 3 and 4 is a little tricky, at least for me. But I tried the inside a couple times and it didn't seem any faster than the top, so the top's a little safer.
Yeah, not a lot of cars. Still had a pretty wide cushion up there, and it just seemed like quickest way was to pound it down. And, towards the end, you talked about the bottom going away. I brought up the lap times. You guys were definitely running down Blake, but just not enough time to go do anything. But, Joe, P3, man, you got to feel good about that one. Who you want to thank?
Catalytic Recovery, West End Towing and Repair, Highline Photography, all the guys over at Inferno Motorsports, my girlfriend Olivia, all the guys at Coast to Coast, and appreciate you, man, for doing a broadcast like always.
Well, hell of a job, Joseph, and, man, maybe I'll talk to you again tomorrow night, man. Good luck.
Thanks, man.
That's Joseph Grandy in the 518, and now we're going to bring up our P2 finisher in the 558. Hey. Mr. Hometown Heroes himself in the 558, there Brian Moore Sr., man. How you feeling, man? Good P2 here, and you had to hold off Joseph Grandy, and we know how quick he is, dude.
Yeah, I just put it on the top after that restart. I just tried to put it on top and let her eat because I had tried the bottom and I just couldn't get anything to work for me down there like Blake was. And then I thought, just put it on top and let it eat, see what happens. And man, I have to apologize to Dean there. So man, I sure hated to do that. I hated that happened, but I really thought I had him cleared because usually I go on the inside of somebody like that and I get a little better run than I guess I did. And I thought, man, if I slide up right now, he might have to check up for me, but I guess I wasn't clear. So Dean, I apologize for that, brother.
Yeah, I'm sure he appreciates that, but just the product of the beast here when you want to let that thing rip the outside and try to slide someone. And, I'm going to ask Blake the same question. I forgot to ask Joe, but is there any thought in your mind at all, Brian, here when, we don't have a lot of cars? Do you even think about limiting the power? I always forget that you can limit the power in these.
No, that kind of defeats the purpose of the 410, I feel like. I mean, it comes down to more throttle control. And if you're limiting the power, I guess you could limit it for everybody. But if you're going to do that, you might as well run the 360s twice. I mean, I thought about that too. I said something to my son a while ago that, man, if we're only going to get 12 guys showing up for the 410s, maybe we could run 2 360 shows. And then in one season, you're actually running 24 races instead of 12. So that makes, a much longer season. It
Yeah.
would seem like, but because you're running twice as many races. But
Yeah, I don't know how they do that if they double up. Then you could miss 4 races instead of 2. But I'm sure it's something that that's an idea to float around. Maybe something to draw a couple more guys. But either way, Brian, man, you found yourself on the podium here again on a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
So congratulations, man. Good run on P2. Who you want to thank?
Just flatline bodies and you guys, Shaggy Broadcast, and everybody that works with you to get this done. It's a lot of work, I know, and just my brother Rick and Roma. I'm sure they're watching, and I think my son has Jairus and Andrew watching tonight too. So just thank them and my son for all the help he gives me in this thing. So.
Well, good run, Brian. And, I'm not sure what happened to Patrick here tonight, but after him, not taking the grid there, we might have a new points leader. So good run here, Brian. And we'll see what it looks like next week, or I guess in 2 weeks. Cause we got a charity week next week. You going to run some charity races?
I probably won't. I'll probably take advantage of having the week off.
Well, I understand that totally, but congratulations on tonight, Brian. And I look forward to talking to you here once we go racing again.
All right. Thank you very much.
That's your P2 finisher, Brian Moore Sr., excuse me. Shaggy has had it still didn't go away there. I've had a tickle in my throat for, these last 3 minutes here, but I'll try to suffer my way through and talk to the kid here once again. Blake, same story, man. You win heat race number 1, start on the pole, and you just drove away, dude. Congrats. Or no, you started 3rd. I'm an idiot. You started 3rd. There you go. 2nd heat race number 1. So you made it a little harder on yourself.
Yeah, for sure. We had a little contact there at the start and shuffled us back to 5th, but no one else was running that bottom side, and it was working for me. So I was just sticking it down there, and it was really, really fast down there up until about 10 laps ago. It started to slow down quite a bit, but I was able to use that line to get back up to the lead, and from there on out, it was just hitting the bottom consistently.
Yeah, I asked you, and you talked about it a little bit, how you wouldn't be surprised if, the bottom stayed there for a couple laps. Were you licking your lips when you saw the smaller car count and knew that you'd have a bottom for a lot longer than you anticipated?
Yeah, definitely at the start of the feature. I mean, with these smaller car counts, you never know how the track's going to come in, but definitely at the end of the warm up there, I was eyeing that bottom for sure and setting my sights on it. I knew that's where I was going to be at right away. But I expected it to slick off a little bit quicker than it did. The top was definitely faster at the end, but it's one of those things. I was just in a rhythm down low, and if I went up top, and you never know how it's going to feel up there. So we were able to stick it on the bottom and hold on for the win.
Yeah, man, able to bring home the checkers twice in one night. I know Volusia is one of your favorite tracks. It's got to feel good, man. Who you want to thank?
Yeah, I got to thank the parents for watching. Got to thank all the guys at KSR. Got to thank Preston and Epsilon Sprint Wraps and Andy at Ancient Custom Creations. Got to thank Flatline Racing Bodies for sponsoring Hometown Heroes. And of course, I got to thank Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. They got some of the best stuff out there. You can head over to their website and use code CART, that's C-A-R-T, at checkout for 50% off some of their delicious popcorn. And I got to thank you for putting this on.
Well, hell of a job tonight, kid. You don't do much better than 2 for 2, and I didn't pick you either race, so you're welcome. I get half the credit as far as I'm concerned. So, man, it just shows whenever you show up, dude, you're one of the top dogs. That tickle in my voice is coming back, so I'm going to be quiet. Congratulations, Blake, on another good run, and look forward to a lot more of these.
Thanks, Shaggy.
Man, oh man. Sorry, you guys heard me cough there a couple times, but long night, I guess, on the throat here, apparently. But great racing here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network once again. Thank you for tuning in on behalf of everyone at Coast to Coast. Roger, Craig, all the admins, huge shout out to you guys. You don't get to hear it, but tonight Patrick Spangler, he saved me more than once tonight. So huge shout out to those guys. Marty Sakala helped me with some down videos. I mean, it's a whole team here, Coast to Coast. Couldn't do it by myself. And make sure you tune in tomorrow night here for Thursday Night Thunder. I'll be bringing you the show here. We'll come live at around 6:50 Eastern. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Don't miss a show. I'm Zach Chapman with Shaggy TV, signing off. Have a good evening.